So this is just a real simple video. When we come back from the break, uh, actually we do Oikos Hammer and then we do assess current fields one and two strategy. This isn't anything really complicated. It's quite simple, but we go back to the four fields worksheet and we ask the question, two very simple questions in assessing uh, the four fields, five parts is field one, for example, field one and field two. We're going to ask the question, how are you doing field one and field two? How are you doing entry? And how are you doing with gospel? What gospel tool are you using? And so some of this is going to overlap with the prior discussion of barriers. It's just a natural that I am sorry for this blurriness. My camera is not focusing real well, but the question is, how are we doing? That question over there are what barriers, but now we're transitioning to assessing what we're actually doing. And so we ask two questions. How are you doing? Not like what's your actual how are you doing field one, field two activity? What's that look like? First question you have to ask each table. The second question we have to ask is, how are you equipping others for field one, field two? That's a different question. So the first question is, how are you doing field one, field two? If you're not, then you're not. And then two, which generally, if you're not doing it, probably not equipping, but it's a two-part question. How are you doing field one and field two activity as a table? And then ask the question, how are you equipping others for field one and field two activity? And then obviously we move on to field three and four. How are you doing in field three in terms of discipleship and follow-up? What's your activity? Um, what are you doing there? Is it three thirds? Is it some other? What's the training look like for that area and for both of these? Either. And then the follow up is how are you equipping? So this is addressing tools, and then what tools are you using to equip people in field three and field four? And so this is where we're just basically assessing what we're doing and how we're doing it. So very simple, very straightforward. And so I think it kind of lends itself. You can do that at the table and then come back and report as a group when we do that. So, and I think it's also good when we're doing that is that somebody's writing down on a whiteboard, not a whiteboard, but on um, a tear sheet. These are the things we're doing for field one, field two, whether that's harvest or ESL. What are our strategies, and what are we doing? What is our gospel tool? Are we using the three circles? There's just several of them, and how are you equipping people to use those things? So I hope that makes sense. Again, it's going to be in a large group, and we can work through some of the questions that arise as we're doing this.